welcome everybody to another episode of Beyond the Black Tag with myself, Mau Chobile here, and Jeremy Chagadama, my co-host. Today is a special day. All right, we are starting February, the month of love, with beautiful things, wonderful things. All right, usually we have thorns in this podcast, right? We have masculine energy. We have a lot of testosterone. Today, the rose among the thorns. All right, we have estrogen in the room. All right, and we've got some feminine energy, and we are quite excited to have with us Buhle Senaoane. All right, I hope I pronounced that surname properly.
You did. Oh, I'm glad you didn't butcher it on this podcast. Thank you.
Buhle, thank you so much for joining us. We are grateful that you are with us. And what we would like for you to start out with is an introduction of yourself. Okay, who are you? Where are you from? Just tell us something about yourself. Who are you? And people would like to know who you are. Yeah.
Okay, so I am Buhle Senaoane. I stay in Cape Town. I won't say where. Can't let people find me. Yes, but I'm from Cape Town City. I am the first of 6 kids. I won't say my age. If you want to know, DM me. I served a mission 2018 to 2020. I actually served 21 months because of COVID. So you can tell it's about to get powerful around here. Just about me, I'm a lover of everything. I'm a lover of life. I love music. I'm very artistic. I'm also very intellectual. I love to read. I'm very curious. So I'm a questionable. I will question you, and you will feel offended. I will question you. I've been a member of the church my whole life. I was born in the church. So my testimony comes from, it's like a historical testimony, but I definitely gained my own, guys. I have my own. But yeah, if there's anything else anyone wants to know, please DM me. I'm even asking, please.
DM, guys. DM. We'll drop the DM details in the video. Don't forget to DM.
100%. Yo, so Buhle.
Yes.
Where did you serve your mission?
Oh, good question. I served in the Sierra Leone Freetown Mission. That's in West Africa.
Now, how scary was that?
To be honest, I was not scared. I wasn't scared, honestly, because I was just so excited about the whole concept of mission. You know, I wanted to be a mission. My father was a mission, and a lot of people I knew were missionaries. I was like, I love the gospel. I'm not shy of people. I'm ready to teach. And I wanted to be out of my country. So that was a bonus. But I won't lie. When I first heard Sierra Leone, I thought it was somewhere in Jamaica. I was like, where am I going? I was like, this sounds fancy. And then I searched it online. And yeah, guys, don't Google things sometimes. I searched and I was like, it looks very African. So I was like, okay, it's fine. And then I was deceived. I thought it's an English mission because my mission letter said it's an English mission. And my mom had a friend who had a son who had served in the mission and asked him to come and give me a presentation. And the presentation shook me a little bit, but I was like, I'm not going to be scared. I'm going to serve. But I won't lie, it was a culture shock. It was. Those from South Africa who have left will realize how privileged we are down here. It was a very poor country. And so, yeah, it was an experience. Food, language, we spoke Creole on our mission.
Snap.
So it sounds like pidgin. So for those who are Sierra Leonean, Kushe, Adibodi, that's how we used to read. I'm still at Salon TT. I still talk Creole. And that was my mission. But I wasn't scared. I won't lie, I wasn't. And it just came from the excitement of wanting to go on a mission.
No, because listen, my mother said to me, if you dare end up serving anywhere close to those areas, you're not going on a mission. You know, funny enough, because before I went on my mission, I watched Freetown. So that's the only information I knew about Sierra Leone. I watched it, and funny enough, I enjoyed it because of the suspense and its missionaries, church and miracles and stuff, the cool things that happened there. Only information that I have about it. Then I'm like, Mom, why don't you watch it? She's like, what's it about? I'm like, oh, it's about this. She's like, if you want me to die before you go on mission, I will watch this video. I'll watch this movie. I was like, okay, fine. You don't have to watch the movie. So that's, that's kind of why I'm also asking, because, we've got the perception of because of the civil war that happened and all that stuff, and those missionaries that got trapped for a long time on them, on their mission, they stayed much longer than you did. You only had to serve 18 months, but you went 21 months because of COVID, at least not because of a war, Thank
yeah,
the
true,
war against the
true.
virus. Yeah.
True. But to be honest, I will say I did see the effects of that war. There was a lot of amputees in the country.
Yeah.
There was a lot of sickness. There was still this Ebola thing going on. Although it wasn't there was that fear. There's malaria. So you have to take a doxy pill every day. If you miss it, you can get sick. I got malaria 5 times. I was in hospital 5 times with typhoid. For those who don't know what typhoid is, I'm not gonna say here. But there was a lot of sickness, a lot of health issues, it's scary for someone maybe who's very secluded and doesn't know things. It's hard sometimes to go into someone's home and to see that someone doesn't have an arm or a hand, and to understand the story as to why they don't have those things and how the war affected them. But I think that's why missionary work was so much sweeter, because we brought so much hope. But your body will be restored, guys. Yes, it's like this, but let me tell you, it will be perfect. You will have 2 hands and 2 arms, or So yeah, there were a lot of effects of the war there. So I can understand why people would be scared.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty ignorant about this. I had a friend from my ward that served in Sierra Leone as well. So I also served 2018, 2020. So you may know Elder Lunga.
I do.
Yeah, so him and I grew up together. We left for them to see at the same time. He went to Sierra Leone, I went to Joburg. The only thing I knew of Sierra Leone were the pictures that he sent as a missionary. I think the one that was most scary was them preparing to cook a cat. I was like, okay. That's
Guys,
it.
there's a lot of different meats there. You have to be careful there. I ate a monkey by accident.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So
yeah, be careful.
But I didn't know of the fact that like that war, because I knew something a little bit of it. I know the movie as well, Freetown, missionaries who were trapped, were they kidnapped? I can't remember quite well the storyline, but that's that's all I knew. I didn't actually know that, like you're saying right now, that there are people who you could see the effects of that from, and to whom the gospel becomes quite more like remarkable, like you said, you get your limbs restored, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I want to know more of the country. You sparked an interest, right? What was it like culture shock wise? So first time you get there, so you've expressed already that you had done your research prior to going, and then you get there, right? But you're not going there as a tourist, right? You're not going there you're going there as a missionary, a full-time missionary of the Lord. You're here to work.
Yeah.
There's not really comfort, what was that experience like? What was the experience of leaving your home in South Africa, going to another country, and seeing that?
Okay. Honestly, leaving home, I was excited. I was ready. I'm an ambitious person. I'm not scared to leave home. I'm ready anytime. So I was excited taking the planes, Johannesburg, Kenya, Ghana, MTC, and then Sierra Leone. The culture shock came with food mostly. Their staple food is so different than us. They are very natural. They get their food from the ground direct. And then obviously they have the stores. But a lot of people, they go to I wouldn't call it a garden because it's literally just out there, it's growing. They would eat a lot of leafy food. There was kreng. It's one of the leaves. It's very delicious. They have potato leaf. They use the leaf of a potato and it's amazing. They have cassava, the root and the leaf. They also cook that. So I think with the food, it was so different because our food, hey, papa, rice, sausage. I never saw sausage in Sierra Leone. In fact, I never saw a KFC, McDonald's, Steers, anything that you see here. I did not see. I never saw a mall. If there was, I'm sorry, I did not see it. There was a lot of fast food places that sold food that you could cook at home. So they ate a lot of rice, and they had different types of rice. That was my first time tasting different types of rice. They had butter rice, fula rice, and it delicious. They had they just had all this food that I feel like at first, because I'm such a picky person, and I think a lot of South Africans are very particular with their food. At first I was picky, and they eat a lot of chili. Chili. I suffered my first 2 transfers out. Like the bathroom and I best friends because I was dying. They don't eat food without chili. Chili is a thing, but surprisingly, chili is also really healthy for you. So I was grateful for that because I'm asthmatic. I was a bit overweight. So it definitely helped me a bit. Thank you, Sierra Leone. Yeah, so food was a culture shock. And then the language. If you do not watch Nigerian movies, you'll be lost for a bit because and it's surprisingly Pidgin's even better. Nigerian's better. Creole is fast. They cut their words. They don't really finish words. And then it's a mixture of a lot of things because remember, Sierra Leone was built from different slaves from different countries who were freed. And then they ended up in Sierra Leone and they were given that land. And so they mix their languages. So you have a bit of French, like beaucoup means a lot. That's a French word, coucher. All these words are from different countries, but it's
what does that mean?
What does language. Huh?
What does that mean? Coucher.
Coucher is hello. Coucher.
Okay. All right.
And then the body. How's the body? How are you doing? The body fine. I'm fine. And I love when they thank God. They tell Papa God thank you. See God, Papa God, Daddy God. I loved it. You talk with sass there. The body fine. So the language. And then also just seeing the reality of how other people live. I think when you see it in a movie, it's like, oh, but when you see it in person, like poverty, some people have to go and sell fish on the road to eat that day. You understand? That was hard as a missionary. I think that was the hardest thing. Not being able to help them because our mission, you're not allowed to give people money. And so it's like, I can't give you money, but I can give you spiritual money. And I hope that you'll have faith enough that Heavenly Father will carry you. Please pay your tithing. And Umtu doesn't have money. And you tell them, pay tithing. And it's like, I think that country taught me a lot about faith because of what they've gone through. It was a faithful country. They wanted you to come to their house. Like, come teach me. What are you teaching? Where are you from? They love visitors. So yeah, culture shock came with food, language, and just seeing poverty. That was a culture shock for me. And realizing that sometimes I sounded very snobbish without realizing. Like, I can't eat that fish. I can't do this. Or a member will give you food and you're like, now you have to lie about being allergic. Like, I'm allergic. So yeah, that's what it is. But you get very used to it because people are so loving, so sweet, so loving.
Shame, man. I guess I think of my little sister. My little sister is the most picky person I know today. So imagine if she was to be sent somewhere like that. That would just be insane for her.
Oh same with my sister. She's like, I'm not going on a mission because I don't want to risk having to go somewhere like that. So she's like, nope.
And I guess it's more likely for the sisters to go to some of these crazy and exotic places, because as elders or as brethren here in South Africa are easy to just go to Cape Town, Durban, Joburg, where sisters, they can't serve in Joburg. So already they know they need to get their passport ready. Where to? That's up to the Lord now. Now, what do you think you came out of Sierra Leone with? Going to now beyond the black tag, what skills, ideas, understandings did you come back with? Because now I guess you had the culture shock getting onto mission. Then there's the going back home and adjustment and all that. How was that part? Especially coming back into COVID, coming back home while in COVID, everyone's locked down and things like that. How was that?
Okay, I'm going to speak in context of regardless of COVID, because I think COVID is such an isolated situation, so it's very specific. But something I learned from mission is that the habits that you don't gain on mission, you won't be able to get them after. That's the reality of it. If you are not someone who has learned to budget on mission, best believe it's hard after mission. Because on mission, you're given such a particular amount and you know your responsibilities. Budget. When you get home and now you're used to 10,000, it's hard to take out that 1,000 for tithing. It's hard to take out that money for rent. And you're like, let me stay at home rather. I'm not going to pay rent because you're not used to taking out money for things. So things like budgeting, I learned how to budget on mission. It made it so much easier when I came back that with the small amount I had as an allowance before a job, I could make do with 1,000 after mission. I wasn't picky like, hey, mama, I've got to buy this. I've got to buy this. Another thing is on mission, live within your means. Because a lot of missionaries, they would take that money like, I want to buy a shoe. I want to buy this. No, why you're there? Because now you're going to be used to spending on things that don't matter, that when you go home, you're doing the same habits.
Correct.
A habit is formed in 14 days. Imagine 2 years, 18 months, what habits you've gained. They're hard to let go of after mission. I learned a skill of talking to people, managing people. I was an STL on mission to manage other sisters who are emotional, who have their own point of views. Others are older than you. It was tiresome sometimes, but I loved it because it gave me skills that I used even now in my job in school. Learn how to talk to another person, regardless of age. Have respect, especially when you go into someone's home. Learn how to navigate yourself. Don't act like I'm here to give you something. No, like I'm here to teach you, but I'm a guest. I'm kind. I'm sweet. Another skill I learned on mission is learning to listen. As missionaries, we have to learn to listen to the Spirit. And listening to the Spirit sometimes means listening to other people. You're going to learn how to stay with difficult people. Companions are hard, but one thing I believe is every companion I had prepared me for after mission. Because I had companions who didn't want to do any work. And now you come out in the world and maybe you have a sibling or a parent or a coworker who doesn't want to do things. How do you navigate with that person? Things like that, especially when it comes to marriage one day. You need to know how to handle an individual, regardless of how they are. Learn to work with them, compromise with them. Leadership skills definitely helped. I think also learning to be prone to the Spirit. That's something I think I was very grateful for. That I knew when the Spirit said no. Because after mission, there's too much noise. You know, you hear friends who are like, hey, what you mean? You've been gone so long. Let's go do this. You've missed out. Or your mother saying, well, you have to do this because you're done with mission. This is the next step. You need to learn to listen to the Spirit and learn to receive revelation for yourself, because I've seen a lot of return missionaries. They get home and they're in this frenzy of, okay, I've got to catch up. Catch up to what? Catch up to what? The Lord has put you in a place where he has actually pulled you back like an elastic bag. And when he let go of the band, he let you go way forward than those peers for a reason. There's no reason to backtrack now and go do the things you've missed out. There's nothing you've missed out on. You understand? So for me, my mission taught me skills that now when I came back on mission, I won't lie, it wasn't hard to say, you need to sit at my table and study now. It's time for scripture study because I was used to doing that. It's time for companionship study because I'm used to doing that. It's time to do this. I think time management is one of the most important thing on mission. If you don't get to appointments on time, guys, you will not go to work on time. Let me promise you. You won't go to work on time because you will not receive. For me, I'm very picky with time. Those who know me, they know how my face changes fast when I see that you are here on time, but you're late because now we still have to do intros and stuff. Get your 5 minutes before the time, 30 minutes if you can, things like that. These are the skills that you learn on mission, but it also takes you wanting to learn them, because there's people who go on mission and let mission just go through them, and those who actually go through mission. So you have to make that conscious decision every day when you wake up, because some days there'll be transfers where it's like, I don't feel like doing anything this transfer. And this companion anyway is annoying. I'm not going to talk to them. And you just waste a whole transfer. And yet you were so excited when you got your college and like, oh, but it didn't. Like, it's so important to always remember why you are there. If you understand the why in life, I think it's easy to get up and do things. It's the same way now I understand my why. So I'm able to do things. On mission, I understood my why. I won't lie. I wasn't the most obedient. I was obedient, but I could have been better. But the things that I did allow myself to be obedient at are what is still carrying me till now. Like personal scripture study every day. Oh, return missionaries who go home and they forget that one simple nourishment. You can see the change already. And it's sad. And it's the reality of it. Like a lot of return missionaries get home. The first sign of is done, no garments. The second sign, no church attendance. The third sign, the pictures now they're being posted. Is not scared to be judged or anything. And this is reality. You understand? We can't shy away from it. And why do they get there? They're not nourishing their spirit. They're nourishing the body, but not the spirit. Yeah. So let me not
first of all, I'm quite impressed just with how candid, because these are conversations we have behind closed doors, right? And maybe you're scared to say it out loud because it may come across as being judgmental or anything of the sort, right? But I like how you're saying, look, this is the reality. You've just had this experience. You've just taught people these things. Are you living up to what you taught? Are you have you been changed? When Elder Holland came to Joburg, that was his big theme, was you can't go home after 18 months or 2 years and be the same. Like, what were you doing? And I think that has always stuck with me, and I can see it with you as well. I mean, you were quite intentional before going, and while you were on your mission, you were quite intentional, and it seems even afterwards. A question I had was, did you ever become discouraged? So coming back, because I'm sure you had expectations as well once you reached the end of your 18 months or your 21 months. You had expectations of what life was going to be like once you got home. Were those expectations met? Were they, was it different? And if there was disappointment, how did you handle, or how do you still handle it? If it was a little bit different from your plans?
I think one of my disappointments is having to accept that some people didn't understand what I went to do. So friends, for example, they didn't understand why I chose to go on mission, and then why I'm still continuing the same standards now. But I don't want to go out. I don't want to drink. I don't want to do all these things. I didn't just go for holiday. There's a reason why I did that. I think I was disappointed in that fact that I thought that we all in this together. And I think the other disappointment is that I thought Heavenly Father would just bless me immediately with a job, with a husband, with a family, with finances. And it didn't come that easy. It's not easy. In fact, the real work is not on mission, it's after mission. The qualifications you have on mission are missionary qualifications. They don't matter to the world. So when you go into a job and you tell them, but I don't have this experience, but I had 18 months on mission, they're like, that's not experience. Things like that. And mission is like university. You're in a bubble, and then it pops and you come out in the real world. So those things were disappointment. But this is why I'm saying the habits you learned on mission are so important, because when you come home and you're not grounded and anchored, then it's easy to be disappointed and sit there and then say, I get Heavenly Father, like, I gave you all this time. Where's the blessings? And I think what he's teaching you is, it's not that I'm going to give you things, it's that I'm going to help you to be able to go through the difficulties and still get them. You'll be strong. You'll be fine. You'll know who to come to. So school, I wanted to go to university, and my spirit told me, don't go to university, do BYU pathway, because I had that mindset of, I want to go back a little bit, like, I miss my friends, I want to see how it feels. But also I was also I don't want to say I was mature too much, but I was in a different state of mind. It wasn't going to be the same. And I didn't listen, honestly. I went to university, and the first semester I quit. I was like, it's not for me. Guys, whoever's in university is still there, I commend you, because university for our age group, headquarters Kasatan detention it's alcohol, there's all these different persons. Yeah, it's a lot. And that's just for me personally.
Mhm.
I saw a lot that it pushed me spiritually. You know, I loved my roommate, but outside of the room, it was a struggle. You understand? Things like that. So I think just the disappointment just came from the fact that why does it feel like too hard now? I'm not used to this type of, the difficulties I had was an investigator not coming for an appointment. But now I have difficulties that, like, your CVs are not going through, you're not getting the job that you applied for, you don't have the experience. And even in the experience, you have to get experience to get that experience. It was just a lot. But remembering to pray, read my scriptures, go to church. There were times I went up and down in the last 4 years from mission. I did have up and downs. I won't lie. I did make mistakes. But I can say with a surety that because I was praying, because I had a support system, I think number one is important. Have a support system, guys. Have a group of people that can always ground you. Because when you start losing yourself, they need to tell you, man, yay, don't forget what you went to do. And at the end of the day, people will always be watching you. As a return missionary, especially those you taught, they're on your Facebook, on your WhatsApp, on your Instagram, they're watching you. You will always be a light to them. So you have so much more responsibility because with great power comes great responsibility.
Oh, okay, then.
So you understand? So yeah, my disappointments, they were small compared to what I where I am now. I'm looking back and I'm like, I too, those were small. I was saved. I prayed, I read my scriptures, I went to church, I accepted callings, I kept myself busy. Because the one thing you don't want to do is to sit. Satan likes idle minds. So as a return missionary, be busy and be busy with the right things. Don't try to go with the group of friends who won't understand what you did. Be busy.
Yeah. You see, I am relating a ton on the blessings and I feel like we you know I don't know, we've spoken about this before with Mao, how we as return missionaries, we feel entitled to the blessings. What's happening, God? Like, why am I not flourishing after this mission thing?
Yeah.
And we battle, we struggle to get out of that mindset. And I feel like there's a point where you kind of hit a rock bottom when you come back from your mission and you're like, I'm better than this. And life just takes off after that, because now you've reached that point of humility. You realize that it's not me, and it's still not just me. It should be like mission where I was depending on God. I don't know why we feel entitled, but if we get over that quicker, which I've seen a couple of my friends do, some guys are just like, hey, it's still not me, it's the Lord. And their life gets ahead very quickly. And I look at them like, I wish I could have, focused a little bit more in the beginning. But, once the blessings come, and then I'm just like, yo, God, if this is what you're preparing me for, I receive, I accept, and I continue. And
keep pouring.
Keep bringing them. I understand the plan. It's just, I feel like we do need to remove that sense of entitlement. We're told about these things before mission, that, oh, your mission's gonna bless you and your life. We're told on mission that if you stay on mission, it's better than going home. So rather stay on your mission. And getting home, then you're just like, all right, where? But instead of saying where are the blessings, just say where to start. What am I gonna do first? And a lot of these projects, and I still commend Mao for us, beginning this project, I call it, Beyond the Black Tag, because it allows even us to push out skills that we used on mission, being able to speak to people, to ask questions, ask inspired questions, and get information out of people that are going to bless them, bless us, and bless even you, who's right here in front of us. So using those skills that you get from mission, honestly, biggest blessing ever. Yes, we can't use half of them on a CV, but the skills, just being able to say that I am able to do this, I'm capable of doing this, along with my little degree that I got from BYU or some certificate I got from some odd place, you can trust me to do the job. And they can say, okay, let's give them a try. And all we need as return missionaries is just an opportunity. Once we get that opportunity, I think we really get the ball rolling there.
Yeah, so true.
Jeremy mentioned, this is an exciting conversation. Jeremy mentioned a phrase. He said, when you're on the field, and at least you start to see the blessings of keeping commandments. You seeing them maybe from friends or family or just members around you. You start to say, "I get the plan." Buhle, what is the plan? According to you, right? Both your plan that you had after, I guess, serving, but also just like the lifelong plan. If there's a young person today, right, 18-year-old young adult, or they can be male, they could be female, right? They just finished high school and they are trying to figure out what to do with their life, right? One wants to go to mission, one wants to go to university. Both are very, very good options, right? One wants to take a gap year. You know, the law doesn't discriminate, right? But in terms of lifelong decisions that will, carry you through, what would you say a person should focus on to build a successful life?
Number one, if you're a man, go on mission. There should not be a question about should I go to school or mission. Go on mission. Mission will prepare you to be a man. It will prepare you with skills that you as a man need for a woman to look at you and be like, Indodale. I think for women, if you feel that you can take that time and give it to the Lord, I promise he will bless you exponentially. Because mission does need that woman touch. It does need a sweet spirit for those mission that has sisters. But for men, it shouldn't be a question. There's a reason why it is your duty. There's a reason why you have the priesthood. There's a reason why men specifically must go 2 by 2. So I think it's that simple. When it comes to the plan, go on mission. And go as soon as possible. And if you just got the gospel at 26, apply and still go on mission. Let that be your priority. Because there are things there that you will learn that you will never learn anywhere else. And that's the truth. There are things that Heavenly Father will put you through that you need to go through during a mission. So I think, as plain as it can be, if you're a man, no excuses. Put your papers in whilst you're in grade 12 and go and serve a mission. And then in terms of what's the plan after that, stay on that mission. I have a saying that I love to tell return missionaries and just missionaries that once a mission or once a missionary, always a missionary. And I mean in the sense that the things you've learned on mission, you're going to appreciate them so much after mission. Stay on the covenant path as you did on mission. After mission should be just a continuation of what you were doing. It's just you're not in the bubble anymore. Stay on the covenant path. And the plan is so simple that you just doing things around it. After mission, yes, get married. We're not saying pressure, because there's this thing of pressure. Don't listen to anyone. When it's the right time, get married. But that should be your priority. You are working towards getting married. You're working towards taking care of your family. You're getting an education towards all the things that lead to celestial. That is the plan. So after mission, you work, you study, and you better yourself so that you can take care of some beautiful daughter of God out there. And then when you marry her, continue the same things. She's your companion now. Budget together, work through problems together. You do things together as you did on mission. That's what I'm saying. Life after mission is just a continuation of that. It's just now in the big world. So if you're thinking about what am I going to do after mission, you are working towards getting in that temple and getting sealed. And then after that, you're working towards going back to Heavenly Father with that sealed family. It's that simple. Everything else falls into place. You need to have an eternal perspective so that these little things of, I didn't get this job, I didn't go to school, they won't affect you that much because you're still working. You're going to get up tomorrow and still work towards that. That is the plan. And that's the plan I'm still working on. I'm going to say it now. I'm 25. But I'm still working towards the same goal. Me, I am working because I need to make sure by one day I can take care of my kids if my husband is sick. I'm getting an education so that I can go back to him father and say, John, I am like you. At the end of the day, everything I'm working towards is to get into that temple, be the person I need to take care of my family and my husband, help my future generations, and go back to Heavenly Father. That is the plan. So,
quick question on top of what you just said. And I've had someone ask this question to other sisters, and it's a very interesting question. so if you just said you're working and studying and stuff, so that in case, I want to say crap hits the fan, you are able to take care of the family, right? You're able to take that upon yourself. So let's put it a perfect world situation that you don't have to. Obviously, you're still equipped and skilled in all of these things, right? But your husband has a job that is able to sort the family out completely, and you don't need to work anymore, right? Not to say that you don't, but you don't need to. And he comes with that offer that, madam, would you care to stay at home, or would you like to continue working? Which choice do you prefer? Which one would you go for?
I think it's a very personal question for whoever is asked that question. But just as a generalization, I think, first of all, a woman just needs to understand what a blessing it is to be a mom. And in that regard, if I were a mom, what would I want for my kids to follow? I want them to have an opportunity to see how both things work. I don't mind being a stay-at-home mom, and that might be till they're only 10. And then after that, I might have a job from home or something so that they can see how to navigate those things. But if you have the opportunity where a man can say, be a stay-at-home mom, I can take care of you. I would say yes, but here's my thing. No one knows what will happen. That's why I'm studying. That is why I'm working. Because anything can happen. He has his plan for me, but I'm going to stay at home, take care of the kids. I don't mind. I'm comfortable. Oh, very nice. But should anything happen, and anything can, I need to be able to say, like, listen, kids, your dad did his part. I can do mine too. At the end of the day, you want to be a woman that stands next to your man and you're at the same level. You understand? It's very heartbreaking, some women who give their life to their kid, and a man is like this in society to them just because they're working. Get that paper, get that degree, so that when you stand next to him, he can say, my wife, who's educated, if she needs to, she will go work now. You understand? I don't think it's wrong if women say, I don't want to work, I want to stay at home. There's nothing wrong with that. Being a mother is a job, a full-time that she doesn't get paid for. But if she wants to work, allow her to. I don't see the fight between it. Like, do which one works for you as a family also. Because for me personally, I can't see myself working when my kids are young. They need me there. I don't mind working when I'm 40 now and they're high school and it's fine. I can pursue my life again. And I think this thing of time, people should understand age is not the same to Heavenly Father. 40 is young. My mom is young to me. If I want to start my career at 40, many celebrities have only gone big at 40 to show that life is not what you think it is when it's like this. Like, I have to do everything at 20, at 30. I won't have to. There's time. But at the end of the day, think celestial. I would rather be a mother first and then a career woman. You understand? Yeah. I think that's just my opinion on it, though. It's just my opinion, guys. Don't fight me.
I think it's true as well. Different families were going to look different. And I think that's been one of the fights of this generation at this time, that, people are trying to say there's this criteria that either the world has or the church has, and it doesn't suit me, so I'm going to fight with everybody around me until I can get my way. But no, listen, there may be ways that people are saying, there may be ways that the church may be saying, but it's your marriage at the end of the day. You are the one that needs to make it work. I forgot which married couple said it to me, but they just said, make the marriage work, Yes, marriage and relationships can be a lot of work, but sometimes they're not a lot of work. If you just simply understand your why, like you mentioned earlier on, and you just, decide on things together as to how are you going to make it work, and just go with that, you just make it work, do what you need to do. If you need to fight about something, fight about it and get over it, and you continue the next day, you continue to love each other. If you need to make a big decision that's going to happen in plus minus 5 years, make the decision and decide how are you going to push through You know, if you're having that struggle, like
Mm.
husband has no money or there's no job or whatever, let's make the decisions as to how is the family going to move? Are we gonna have to move houses? Are we gonna have to get different jobs? Are we gonna have to go back to school? What do you do? And it's gonna look different for everyone. No one should look at someone and say, I want to do it exactly how they did, because you might not be able to do it exactly how they did. And your life is going to look so much different. The opportunities are going to be very different. So it's just that. And I love everything that you've said about this one.
Thank you.
I just want to add a thought that comes with both of you guys' comments. Beginning of this year, so every year we try to, at the end of the year, to set goals for the upcoming year. And it occurred to us when we were doing, my wife and I, when we were doing our goals for 2024, to take our patriarchal blessings, right, and put them in front of us while we were planning. And I don't know why that thought just came to my mind right now as you guys were speaking, but I think because of the comment that you don't know what's going to happen in the future, right? You can plan all you want, like guys, you can plan all you want, right? You can say, I'm going to have 2.5 kids. I'm going to live in Sandton. I'm going to drive a Mercedes, you know, 2-door, whatever. And life takes, you know, a short curve. You lose a spouse, you lose a child, maybe you get given a child with special needs, and that changes the dynamic. There's a lot of things that can happen that we don't plan for, but I love the idea. Are you thinking celestial? Are you involving God in your plans? And do you have faith, right? Because I think there's also a lot of cynicism today. For example, I know even within the church, even returned missionaries who don't really like the idea of marriage, you know, they're just like, look, too many failed marriages in the church, you know, or it's just like, why should I do it? It doesn't work for me anymore, right? And I think even though it may be founded on truth, right, that indeed not all marriages work out, or not all plans work out, but what has been counseled, and do you have faith that you're doing the right thing, even if things may not work out according to the way that you have planned them? So anyways, those were some of the thoughts that came as you guys were sharing.
Yeah. Can I make another comment?
Oh, come again.
For that. Can I make a comment?
Go for it.
So I think also we should also allow the idea that some men also don't want to work. There are men who want to be stay-at-home dads. Is that wrong? No. I think if a woman...
Hey, I'll fight you on this one, Buhle. I'll fight you on this
one. Wait. Let me say this. Let me say it like this. I think there are some men out there. Not all women have a nurturing touch. That's the honest truth, especially in the world that we're in. There are women out here who are like independent women. I don't want kids. I don't want nothing. And then a man comes out of nowhere. Now it's like, wow, okay, I don't mind being married, but now kids. I think the couple needs to decide what will work best for the child. Because I don't want to lie to you. Before I was in this concept of marriage, I was a woman who's like, I don't want marriage because I can't stand children. It's like I just, we don't get along for some reason. And I had a conversation with myself. If I had a husband who was sweet, nurturing, loving, and that's his nature, and he was like, you know what? Let's do this. Let me be a stay-at-home mom, dad who works from home. I will not say no. My man doesn't have to wake up and get in the car and go to work, because his job is just as important as a stay-at-home mom. If he wakes up the kids, he makes food for them, takes them to school, goes to their sports things and all those things, I appreciate what he's doing that I can't. If I have to get in my corporate dress because that's what I want for me, there's nothing wrong with my husband saying, I'll be a stay-at-home mom, but I'll work from home. I will do those little things from home. I'm not saying ahlale. No, not in this economy. So you can't.
True.
But I don't mind him being the one who's at home. That is what I'm saying. I think we should allow that thought, that if a man is like, you know what, I'm not the type also to go out. Like, it's not my personality. I'm very introverted. Can I be home with the kids? Can I take it? Can I do the things so that it's easier for you? Can I cook? Yes. Any day. Any day.
Any
And that's why
day.
that comment of it's according to the couple. There is no picture perfect. Society has made it that man working, woman at home, popping out babies. But the world is also moving, and Heavenly Father understands that. And what he's saying is, he didn't say there, men go to work. He said men protect, provide, preside. If my man is at home taking care of the kids, he will still preside over the home. That is his job as a man. Understand? We will work finances together. He will protect, he's at home. He will provide whilst he's at home. And I will go out and do things. I think we shouldn't bash that type of view, because it seems that that's where it's going also. More women want to be out there. And so women should not feel about, I have to sit at home, I have to do this, I have to sacrifice. No, it's according to you as a couple, what works for you. And especially when it comes to children, I think it's so important to have a nurturing parent there. You don't want a mother who doesn't want to be a mom be at home with kids or take care of kids. It will ruin them. You understand? Yeah.
Okay.
Give me your view.
I'm done
Okay.
fighting you, actually. I think you've convinced me, mostly. Look, I still have my 25% fight in left. And I think it's not really a fight, né? Because literally everything you've said makes a lot of sense to me. But it's just questions that I still have. For example, right? We use in the church, we use the proclamation, family proclamation, as a standard of what family life should be like, right?
Yeah.
And for example, the proclamation outlines, first of all, that husband and wife are equally yoked, right? There's no unequal nonsense, right? But then also, like you said, husband is to preside, provide, protect. And then it says, a wife and mother is there to nurture, right? And take care of a household. But what if she is not the nurturing type? What if she does not have nurturing characteristics? And so I guess that's where I would still maybe want to learn more. Is okay, cool. You feel like you're not nurturing, but that is still your divinely assigned role. How do you go about that? Or like, would we be deviating? Because in as much I'm open-minded, by the way, right? In as much as things have changed in 2024 than they were maybe in like 100 years ago. I still think it's important not to just flip everything upside down and say, okay, well, now this one can do this, right? Actually, I don't doubt that even in the future they might find a surgery for men to be pregnant, and I think women would love that. Because they find surgeries for everything these days. But I think that's where I'm hesitant and would need to learn more still, to say, to what extent do we say, okay, cool, you go work, and now I'm in the darkness.
Third time now.
We going
back.
You go and work, and I will. Okay, come on, lights. There we go. You go and work, and I'll stay home with the kids.
Yeah.
To what extent is that aligned with maybe what we believe? And to what extent is it just, of course, Heavenly Father agrees, right? Of course, we can adapt. So I think, just with more education on my end, that's what it would take for me to be convinced. But with what you've said, I accept that. I can see it working.
I think just one more comment on that, and it just came to me. And this is just a personal experience. My mom was basically like a single parent. And she's divorced and remarried now. My mom could not always be at home. You understand? And that's the reality for a lot of people. They only have one parent. That mom can't be home to quote unquote nurture the way I think a lot of people think what nurturing is. Her nurturing came from the fact that she made sure we go to church on Sundays. She made sure that we read our Book of Mormon. She made sure to ask us how was school when she came back from work, and check our homework papers after she was working. So I think that my view was on that fact that she doesn't have to be at home to nurture me. You understand?
Yeah.
I think the things I was speaking of a man was just a role in terms of help with homework, be at home, do all this. And I think the word be at home maybe is also deviating where I'm trying to go with that. But I think it's we should also take into account that most of the world doesn't have two parents. We were birthed from two people doing something, but not all of us have a dad or a mom. And so that one parent who is there are ways they can do things. My mom nurtured us. I can't say she didn't. I am who I am because my mom nurtured me. Even though she was working because she had to for 6 kids, she made sure that when she comes from home, she's tired, but let me check your homework. Did you do your homework? How was school? Okay. Did you eat? Okay, you didn't eat. Let's quickly get it takeaway. You know, things like that. There are some women who will never have the opportunity to stay at home. They have to be out there, but it's in how they do nurturing. Nurturing is to feed. It doesn't mean I have to sit next to you to do that, because like I said, there are some women who can't do that. They can't sit at home with kids. Some of them get PTSD fast the minute they give birth because they're thinking, oh, I have to be with this child. You understand? So I think that's where I was going with that in the terms of, I don't think it will change. The perpetual blessing is there because the world is where it is now. In the Come Follow Me, it was speaking about not the Come Follow Me, my institute class. We were speaking about the family proclamation and how the apostles saw this time, and they saw we're going to have a conflict of roles and who's supposed to do what. And they said very plainly, a man is to protect, provide, preside. What that looks like, according to a family, how it looks like. But that is your role as a man. But you protect, you preside, you provide. And for a woman to nurture, because some men, men are not nurturing people, if I can say. It's just not their thing. They're not emotional like that. A mother can still do that without being at home. And a father can still do things with being at home without being at home. So I think it's the family dynamic.
You know, I'm just thinking and sitting here thinking that we should actually like host a debate one of these days where we've like got a team on one side where they're like,
I
they
am
agree on this,
there.
and a team on the other
I
side
am
that they agree on
there.
this. That would be so fun. We
And
should,
I come with evidence, Nugget. Don't
oh,
debate me.
100%. And that's the other thing is
I'm there.
debates tend to be very hard to have when you have a real situation to it, because it's like, I want to agree with you, but I'm gonna be a bad person for disagreeing with you. You know, everything, you know. But one day is one day. We are going to put that in the papers, and I
Don't
think
forget
that
me.
we won't. Don't worry about it. But I think the important thing about it is, I'm still gonna go back to my thing. Is every family is gonna look different. And as you mentioned, I love how you mentioned how yes, the prophets have said that this is what a man is to do and a woman is to do. Mau calls it a divinely appointed role. Um, then we still have society's roles, how they picture that, how people generally picture that, and I think it's those roles that are the ones that we can play around with more. Yes, as you're saying, Buhle, that a woman is able to nurture whether they're at home or not at home. A man is able to provide, preside, protect whether they're at home or not at home. You know, our landlord was able to put up a security system and stuff like that because he gets in and out of the house. And so he's just trying to make means as to if anything is to happen, he's able to be alert and make sure that he can, you know, do something about it. You know, so I understand that and I believe that. But there's also things that in the home that when you look at these roles and you put them to small things like who's going to look after the children in terms of their homework, who's going to help the children do homework, or maybe you're the smarter parent, maybe you can do that, or who's going to cook, you know, you can cook because you clearly can do this better. I mean, I've heard one friend of mine say to me that my wife is not going to cook for me, you know, I'm going to cook for myself. I'm gonna cook for us. And unfortunately, the reason wasn't because I want to spoil my wife. The reason was because I'm a picky eater. So I'm gonna cook. So I don't have to say, girl, I don't like your food, you know? But I've also seen another spouse, another family speak about how no, my husband cooks because he's just the better cook. And that just so happens to be the case. And you know, and these are just roles and things that at the end of the day, it needs to be done. If it doesn't get done, it's neglect. And that's where we'll have real problems, you know?
Mm.
So before we get to marriage, maybe this will be one of the last questions, but before we get to marriage, there's the interesting part of life that we have to go through in order to be married, you know? And we as returned missionaries, we tend to mess around with this one, you know. People get uplifted, people get hurt, you know. It's a mess in certain places. So we've had this conversation with a couple of our brethren, but now we want to hear from you, Sister. In the dating world, we have many situations, and right now we have a perspective, or there is a perspective on returned missionaries, that returned missionaries are entitled to sisters getting married to them, in terms of the brethren, that they're entitled, that, you know, the sisters must run after us, you know. And there are also the views that sisters have on returned missionary brethren, saying that, you know, you guys are these kind of men. I will never date a returned missionary brother because I've just seen, you know, 3 of them do this, but you've left the other 100, you know, that are waiting for you to try something, you know. So I want to ask, how does that look? How does the dating world for a sister look, as a returned missionary sister especially? I've heard, this is a funny thing, I've heard some brethren say, I will not date or marry a returned missionary sister. I said, why? They said, because they believe they have the priesthood. Yo, did I not die?
that story has been going around even before. It's been going around.
You know, so what does it look like for you, Buhle? Tell us the story.
First of all, just on that comment of we believe we have the priesthood or whatever, I think this is one of those rumors that is gone through time. Someone had an experience and now we all have this perception. You will know a sister missionary when you approach a sister missionary. It's as simple as that. There are some sister missionaries who you will never know they return missionaries because they won't say so. More men return missionaries speak about being return missionaries than sisters do, because sisters have that fear of, he doesn't want to approach me because I'm a return missionary. So a lot of us will not even say that we went on mission until you talk to us. And I think that's the first misconception people have to just put out their minds, because not everyone is the same. I cannot generalize you, but because you're a return missionary, when I'm not going to talk to you. You are your own person. You are not the rumor. So I think in the dating world, let's first get over that, because if that were the thing, I would have never dated, because they are return missionaries everywhere here. And I can safely say, as a return missionary, I've dated, because men were able to be like, you know what, I see Buhle. I'm not seeing a return missionary. See a person for who they are. But in terms of dating, as hey, and this is just without being a return missionary, there are some fundamental things that need to happen. At the age that we are at after mission, or those who are YSA, dating is not the same as high school. Let's first understand that.
True.
We cannot befriend each other, everyone. I can safely say, nah, not everyone's my friend. Men, nah, not everyone's my friend. Because where I am right now and where I want to be, I cannot have a pack of friends after me. Whoever wants to come after me will be intimidated. All these guy friends they have to worry about. And this is a conversation I've had for a few months now with sisters, that it's annoying that men think for us. So you thinking that I want this and I need this from you for you to approach me, for you to want something with me. A lot of men like, I have to finish school first. I have to get a job. I have to do. Some women, and most women, want to start from the beginning with you. Not that I want to, I'm not saying we want to struggle, but we would rather start with you. Let me be there whilst you're studying. We are nurturing people. We want to be there to be emotional support. I want to help you with this module. I want to make food for you when you're going to school. I want to help you get that job. And a lot of women want that. We're not looking at for us, as much as we see the finished product, we want to see you go through it. Because the truth is, diamonds are made under pressure, and we love that. We love a working man, a hardworking man, a man who has ambition, if you come to a woman, make sure that you have your story straight. Tell her, Banajaga, I'm studying. I'm trying to work. I want to give you this type of life. But this is where I am. Are you willing to be there with me? If she loves you, she's willing. She will say, yes, let's do it. She will marry you but she's going to sleep on the floor in your first apartment. She will marry you knowing that maybe you're going to stay with your parents for a few months before you get an apartment. So that's very important. Be honest as men. Be honest about your intentions. Don't come to me as a friend. I hate that thing. Some of you come to me as friends. Did I ask you that I want to be your friend? Because my thing is, I think that men and women cannot be friends from the beginning. It doesn't work. There's always someone who has to sacrifice emotions for us to be friends in the end. You understand? There's no guy who's going to look at me and be like, I want to be her friend. Yeah. He sees something he likes. But maybe he's shy and now he's coming as a friend. And the sad part is when I've moved on, you can't say, hey, you know, there was a time I liked you, I wanted to ask you. Don't tell me stories of the past. You didn't come tell me. I'm married now. So when it comes to dating, be intentional. And this is the word I use. The friends of my friends, they know this word, intentional. Be intentional from the beginning. When I go to a man or a man comes to me, the first thing I ask him is, what do you want? What do you want? Because if you say friendship, make sure you're going to stay in that zone. Don't disturb my life. Stay there because you want to be friends and I will treat you like the friend you are. Or come to me and tell me that I would like for a future with you. I would like to get to marry you. This thing of dating like we 16, get to know you. What are you getting to know for what?
My talking stages.
Most of my exes didn't even know my favorite color until maybe 9 months later, because what do you need my color for? Be specific when you're talking to me. Tell me, I see you in a white dress one day, I'm married to you. So that I know I condition myself, but whatever he does, it's because he wants this with me. So, and another thing is, women and men, stop being petty. If I went out with you and we didn't work, don't talk about me when you see me dating another man. It didn't work. Move on. Move on. You're adults. Stop holding on to things. Move on. She doesn't want you. He doesn't want you. Move on. As a woman in the dating world, it's very easy to date, but it's hard to get past the dating to the marriage because of people not being intentional. Umdu comes to you and they like the idea of you. People, stop liking the idea of marriage. Like, want to get married, have a desire to be. Don't like, because what you think marriage is will not be what your marriage is. That's my firm belief. I can see prophets, apostles, and leaders of the church. That might not look like what I want or what I will have. So I'm not going to look at this man and be like, well, if you can't be like Elder Holland, then you're not for me. No. If you're not like this, then you're not for me. No. If you don't have this and this, no. We should stop putting expectations that we ourselves cannot even live up to. I think that's a comment to women specifically. Do not give a man a checklist. In fact, make the checklist when you're with him. Have you finished studying? Tick. We did good, but are you working? Tick. Oh, wow, we're growing. How many kids do we want? 4. Okay, we're gonna get there. Tick. We are the checklist. Don't make a checklist for him. You scare him away. I've seen that with other women in the dating world. Myself, I never think, because I knew what I'm doing. I know why I'm there. My why helped me not to stay for nonsense. I had this curse for about a year where I only dated for 1 month because I was like, nonsense. It's a month in and you're not talking serious things. Bye. Understand? Don't waste your time. Don't waste the man's time. Don't waste your time. And let him not waste your time. Don't allow him to. Stop trying. Oh, red flags, guys, are real. They're real. They're real. Stop trying to think they aren't. They're red. If this man does not hold a temple recommend, it's a red flag. How is he going to get in the temple with you? Now, wait, man, you should ask a woman, do you have a temple recommend? A current one. That if I said, let's go to the temple now because you're Yantanda, you'll enter. That's important because then you know that he's living his covenants or she's living her covenants. Number 2, what is the end goal here? Because if you know the end goal, the beginning from the end from the beginning, you know how you're navigating things. I can safely say all my exes, although we didn't work because of a certain thing that we couldn't go past. We did good. I should write a book for dating. All my exes, I may have told them anything bad because we did good. It's just we realized, but no, the priorities, they're not actually there. So for me in the dating world as a woman, I can't say it's not that hard. We are overcomplicating things because we like to waste time. Some people are in relationships because they don't know how to be alone. And that's a problem because you're wasting someone's time. Stop wasting people's time. Be intentional. Say from the beginning, mana, Choga, Sisi, my goal is that in 9 months, if you give me 9 months, I want to marry you. And I say yes, you better make sure that that 9 months you're accepting, because by month 4, I will see whether you're serious or not, and I will leave you. And don't be petty when I go to the next guy who's been in my DMs, who's intentional and consistent. I will move on fast. Nah, I'm a mover. I move fast because I have a goal. I'm trying to get married. So stop befriending people. Stop having friend zones. There shouldn't be any of that. Married people are friends with married people for a reason. Just leave the friendship thing. Leave the whole let's be friends. And then 2 years from now, you want to ask me out. What are you doing? So when you've been hibernating, waiting for, come to me direct. Don't go through the corners. No. Yeah, but I think those are just my comments with dating. It's not that hard. If you know why you're there, it's easy. It's easy. And return sister missionaries are not scary. We are beautiful. We are scary because you as a man know, but now what you're doing, I'm going to call it out. One thing about return missionaries, we do talk. Sisters, we'll tell you off. Because at the end of the day, yes, I served too. Not that I have the priesthood. I know what you know. That is what you're scared about. Don't be scared to come in my DMs, guys. Don't be scared.
We are so grateful to have had you. We could go on and on. I think I can already imagine all the sound bites, all the gems, all the quotes that are going to come from this conversation. Bar after bar after bar. And yeah, I think Jeremy and I would just like to express gratitude that you took your time. I know we went over time.
No,
but it's just because we enjoy talking to you so much. Maybe in closing, man, this has been a fire conversation. In closing, what now, right? So this channel is beyond the black tag, right? Beyond life after mission. And there's many young adults there. When we started, we said it's many return missionaries. We've expanded our thing to say there's young adults, right? Whether they served or not. There's parents to young people who also interact with this kind of content. What advice do you give them? Somebody is sitting there right now, dejected, feeling they're lost, they don't know what decisions to make, or they know what decisions to make, right? But they are scared to take that step that they know they need to take. What advice do you have for that young adult there in the world who could be listening today as a closing remark?
I think go back to the basics. Pray. Praying is not going to fix your problem, but it sure will give you the comfort you need. And pray with intention, with real intent. Pray to know what to do. Sometimes Heavenly Father won't answer because he knows you know what to do and you're scared, and maybe you need a little push, and he will give it to you if you are honest and sincere. He will bring it to you. That I believe. And also just do it. Whatever you're scared of doing, just do it. Because fear means an absence of faith. But sometimes fear is just that you don't know what's going to happen, and you're not going to know. You're going to keep sitting there not knowing at the end of the day. do it. Your 20s into your 30s, and what I'm seeing now halfway into it, is that these are the years to experiment and make mistakes, get back up, because guess what? Tomorrow will come. Whether you make a mistake, tomorrow will come. The world still moves on, and that's the reality of it. Do you want to move with it, or you want to sit in your room and be sad? And it's painful to hear like that, but that's what you need. You need to get up and do it. If it's something like, getting a temple recommend, fix up your life and get it. It's that simple. If you know you need to get a job, start applying. Talk to friends, get recommendations. Just do it, because Heavenly Father helps those who also help themselves. We are here to become like him. Remember the plan. We're here to become like him. There's going to be hardships because he's refining you. He wants you to be like him. How loving is he to do that? You understand? So help him halfway and get up and do. Pray to get the strength you need and get up and do. And I think that's advice that any 20-year-old needs. Get up and do it. You will only know after you've done it. So yeah, it's scary, but you're not alone. Remember that. There are millions of others the same as you. So get up and do it.
And with that, I think it's another reason why we've started Beyond the Black Tag. We are not alone. We come home, yes, alone, coming to your home or your house, wherever you're going back home to, but we are not alone, And once again, Buhle, we thank you so much for reminding us of that and for being with us. I think you're going to add a lot to this community and help people to, come in and not really feel alone, with the experiences that you've shared and the things that have happened. Life is a tough thing on its own. And for us to think that we're doing it alone and to do it alone, it's going to be so much harder, right?
Yeah.
Work with God and work with either a partner or some family and friends that are going to assist you. Yes, friends are the family that you get to choose, but be careful to, as Buhle said, don't have too many friends of the opposite gender. Right? But once again, we thank you, and thank you everybody for being able to be with us, visit with us, watch us. We invite you to like, subscribe, comment. Let us know how you enjoyed the episode. Let us know how you enjoyed Buhle. Her details will be in the the details section? The description, that's what it is. Her details are going to be in the description. You can be able to check her out, see what she does, how she goes about her life, and get to send her a message. Brethren, please do not lose out on this opportunity. Give it a chance. All right.
Be intentional.
Yes.
Very important words. Thank you so much, Buhle. From myself and Mau, we love you all and thank you all for this experience. Have a good rest of your week.